Have you ever been going through a hard decision and you keep seeing repeated numbers like 1111, 777, 333, 444? Or even been thinking about a friend that you haven't spoken to in quite a while and they reach out to you out of nowhere? Well, this phenomenon is called synchronicity. It's the experience of finding a meaningful connection between two or more events that lack a conventional casual relationship. Wagwan, it's your boy Ema Yuvan. Welcome back to my channel. Just want to hop right into it because this concept is just it blows my mind. So recently, I got to give you guys some game. Recently, I feel like God has just been speaking and communicating to me just about everything that's going on in my mind. So different phenomenons have been popping up left and right, left and right, left and right. And at first, it's been just absurd because, like I understand the modern concept of like a coincidence, just like deja vu, and just like blessings that just appear in real life, right? So I've had this instance to where I've asked God to show me a sign that I'm on the correct path with my life purpose. And I'm not going to say exactly what the sign was, but he presented it in a manner of a double whammy. A double whammy. So I was in like a mental little rut to where I wasn't feeling good mentally. I wasn't like feeling my best. I wasn't really truly, up, just in the best mood possible. So I feel like that was in a case to where I was vulnerable. That's where God wanted to show me that sign, in a place of vulnerability to where if I accepted it at my very high and I saw that sign, it wouldn't hit me. I wouldn't be able to take it in fully because I was already at that high. So he came to me at a state of vulnerability and showed me the sign in a double whammy where it just hit me like boom, boom. And ever since that moment, like I keep thinking about it. It's so insane. I keep thinking about it. He brought that sign in the form of a person. And when I was talking to that person, they said one specific thing that sealed the deal for it. That literally sealed the deal. You wouldn't like, and the reason why I say sealed the deal is because I have been thinking about this certain word that nobody says on a normal basis. No, I've literally haven't heard this word being used in a conversation ever. Ever. And so when God represents this person and brings this person to me in a sign at my vulnerable state, and like first of all, his name was wild. Like, yeah, like that's all. That's first wham right there, right? But the word that he said sealed the deal. It sealed the deal. Like I got goosebumps thinking about it after I left that conversation. And so I kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it. Like, okay, I know God, like God, I know I asked you for a sign. I know I asked you for a sign to show me if I was on the correct path with my purpose. I know I asked for this sign. What does it mean? And like, I asked a question and he answered. But then what I did incorrectly was I kept asking more questions like, God, what does this mean? Like, what should I do with this sign? How does this sign affect me now? I kept thinking too hard about it when all God needed to show me was that first original sign for my answer or for my question. Like, God, am I on the correct path with my purpose? God said, practically, yes, You know what I mean? With that sign, with that double whammy sign. And then it wasn't the very next day, but the day after, the day after, or not the day after, but 2 days later, I'm thinking deeply about it. And so I'm at work and I'm at work and there was this little hiccup, one little hiccup at work to where I had to do something manually instead of go throughout my like normal system to get it fully completed. And so there's this one hiccup. Everything in my workday was going smooth. Everything was going smooth. I had this one little hiccup, this one little problem. I had to go out of my way to fix this little hiccup. And after I get it fixed, I have it on my phone, right? I have the process where I had to do it differently because it was like a little problem going on. It was just like, all right, whatever. I wasn't really thinking too deep about it. It was just like, all right, I've done this in the past, so let me now just do it how I usually do it in the past. You know, just boom, boom, bow, whatever. Continue. Like I'm already on my way, so let me hop back and continue to keep on with the flow. So I have it on my phone. I throw my phone off to the side, screen on. I don't know why I left my screen on, but I did. I left my screen on, just let it sit there. And as I'm continuing working, I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about that sign, that double sign that God presented me, and I kept thinking about the emotion that I had attached to it. I kept thinking about my emotion, not even the emotion that I should have towards God for giving me that sign. And so I changed my thought process into thinking, okay, God, is this how I should really be thinking about it? So where I asked a question and you answered it, should I just be grateful and just be here with you? Should I just accept it? Like, should I just accept the answer that you have given me instead of going on and on and on and on, thinking about it so much, wanting to feel so deeply about it? And I look over to my phone that's still on for some reason, and I see 444. 444. Randomly. Literally after I did that little issue that I had on at my work, I look over and it's on my phone. Don't know why my screen was on. The one little problem that I had throughout work that made me get out of my way. These are little messages that we cannot take for granted. These are messages from God. He's going to represent himself. He's going to communicate with you in many different ways. We just need to be here. We just need to be present enough to hear him, to understand him. It might not seem like it's understandable in the moment, but just be so present in any moment that you're in that'll allow God to say, "Here, my child, I am here." And we need to be able to sit down and listen. Listen to these little coincidences that go on in our everyday life. When we're thinking so deep, when we're feeling so deep with the emotions, when we feel like, we're not being heard, God is always there. God is literally always there. And so we need to appreciate whenever he does communicate with us. We need to close our mouths, open our ears, open our minds, open our hearts, open our spirits, open our arms, and just be thankful over his communication, over his signs, over his word, over his blessings. And I know that synchronicity is really just like the modernized term for a blessing, a spiritual sign, just the communication for God, from God. So that was just my experience on how I feel or how I know God is communicating with me. And I just want to share this message out to you guys into this world, because if I didn't ask that question, I would just see these other signs as just regular things, just like regular coincidence. Like, we need to be able to open our minds up and be aware and be mindful. So, hope this message has found you well. It's been something that's been having my mind like whoa, like literally whoa. And so I'm just truly grateful. So peace and love to y'all. I hope this message has brought you some sort of value, a different perspective. But continue to be great, continue to be you. Peace and love to y'all. Ema Yuvan.